Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Relationship access is a key issue. Relationship access. Now, one of my mentors, Master Yao and Yamache Morris, he'll call it sexual access. And access just means, do you have access to the women you want to relate to, that you want to be in a relationship with? A simple thing. Like, let me use a very good example. Many guys want those dimes. They want those beautiful women. They want the top women. Okay, do you have access to them? Are you in a place where these women frequent? Are you in a city, a neighborhood? Do you go to clubs? Do you go to social events? Are you in that social circle? Yeah, you could say you want like those baddies or those IG level women or beyond that. You can say it all you want. You can want it, but are they right where you can meet them? And of course, then again, some people will say, well, you know, everything's online now. Okay, all right, yeah, you can hit up her inbox. Yeah, you can be one of 1,000. Okay, but do you have access to her? That's the key. Do you have access? Do you have access to the type of women you want? And then y'all know I talk about class, you know, I talk about religion, I talk about all of those things, all of these other factors that affect who you'll be able to relate to. And they are important. They're important. I really need to talk about them more because especially, you know, with men, you know, if she look good or something, we just looking. With women, they looking at all of those factors. Okay, now if you're a smart man, you're like, okay, hold up. Uncle Ron been saying, hey, check all those things out and I want this type of woman, this type of woman. Okay, do you have access to her? You know? Like you get a bunch of guys and they'll, you know, they in social circles where there's a lot of ratchet women, lower class women. Okay, yeah, and yeah, they want that high tier woman. Okay, where do you go to meet those women? Do they have access to it? I mean, it's a major thing. In fact, let me point out something. It's the same thing with women as well. And here's a scenario where they don't have access because, you know, of course, there's all this talk about Pookie and Ray Ray, particularly in the black sectors. I'm not sure what they do in other sectors, but all that talk about, well, maybe the bad boys overall, not just in the black community, but just overall bad boys. And I've said several times, all women ain't messing with them for one simple reason. They're not around them. They don't have access to them. Like if a woman is in a more upper middle class, upper class professional environment, living in a certain place, how does she have access to some lower class bad boy? I put it like that. Seriously, you have to be like, let's just think about it. This is the real world. We ain't talking about like some online stuff, which still only a small percentage of the population actually uses. It's still not the majority. It's growing, but it's still not the majority. Most people are going to meet people on their jobs, in their social circles, in their neighborhoods, even at clubs, places specifically to meet people. Who do they have access to? Who's going to that club? Who's going to that social event? You know? Yeah, you could say even with your tribe might be a certain type of woman who follows a certain religion, certain social class, even look a certain way. All right, are they where you at? Do you have access to them? And not just a physical access either, not just physical where you can physically meet them. Are you on the same page as the women that you want to meet? Like here's an example. Okay, I use that that bad boy example, and in the black community I'll call it Pookie and Ray Ray example. Okay, all right. What about if you're a guy and like say you're working class or something and you want to meet more upper middle class women? You know, women with education and all of that. I mean, it's already tough enough for them to be interested in you, but that's what you want to meet. Okay. Are you in an environment where you can actually meet those types? I want you to think about it. Are you in an environment where you meet and where you can actually interact with professional type of women? That's what I mean. And that's a key issue. Like, you can want whatever. Are you around that type? Are you around that type? Are you around that type of woman? Because using a baddie example, there's guys want it. Okay, how many you meet? You know? Because it's funny, when I've talked about some of the nature of some very attractive women several times, I always get some pushback. And guys, oh, they ain't like that. But they never say, okay, how many they actually know? How many they encounter? You know, are you in an environment where these women are located? And that's the thing. Do you have access to them? Because you can want whatever. Do you have access to them? And not just a physical thing, but mental. Are you going to be able to get along with their value system, with what they're going to see as important? Using that example of maybe a working class dude and that professional woman, you know, are y'all going to talk about the same things? And y'all going to be, you know, because that, trust me, as someone who's dealt with all classes of women and across races, trust me, each group is going to like focus on something different. You know, you might get one group of women, shoot, they talking about what happened on the latest reality show and how somebody did some crazy stuff on there, talk about it like it's some real stuff and that really scripted. Let's just be real. It's really scripted. But, okay, but then they might be talking about that, but then the other group of women, they gonna be talking about what's going on politically. Like serious conversations, what's going on politically. And then if they actually religious, they'll be talking with, you know, stuff that's related to their religion or whatever their subculture is. They're gonna be talking about stuff like that. Can you go in there and have those conversations and relate to what they're saying, and also relate to the experiences? Relate, using the class issue again. Different classes interact differently. You know? Different classes interact with each other. Because using that class example, I'll never forget. I've used one example, like going to two different, like a pool party and then a hotel party the next day. They were two different groups. Another time I went to more, I'll say it's a bourgeois party, more. The women were definitely upper middle class, like family line and everything. And just what they were sitting around doing for fun. And then me, and there was me, a young lady, and this dude. We were more from working class origins. And we were just like, this boy is hell up in here. It means it. I mean, you know, it happens. It happens. And it's something to really take in consideration. Just the access. Do you have access to the type of women that you really want? Or the type of, like, you want them, okay, fine. Do you have access to them? Just think about whatever it is. Like, yeah, heck, you might be able to get along with them if you actually meet them. But do you have access to them? I want y'all to think about that, okay? And that's all I have for right now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.